It's time to tackle the legal issue of the week. Okay, what we're going to talk about is something you need to know with respect to identity theft. Now, identity theft is something that happens when someone uses your personal identifying information, like your name, your social security number, your credit card number, without your permission, and commits fraud or other crimes. I'm sure you've heard about it. And the Federal Trade Commission estimates that as many as 9 million Americans have had their identity stolen each year. In fact, you or someone you know may have experienced some form of identity theft. So what I'm going to tell you is something you can do. In many cases, it won't cost you anything. In some cases, it might cost you as much as $30, but it will prevent the worst form of identity theft. Now, we've seen in the past, we look at the news, identity thieves, they can rent an apartment, they can obtain a credit card, they can establish a telephone account, and you don't even know about it until after the theft, when you get something from from a bill collector. You get a call from a bill collector, you get an invoice in the mail. And I've had friends living very wonderful, discerning lives of stewardship. They don't have great debt. All of a sudden, one day, they get something in the mail, and it says that some furniture or some very large ticket item has been purchased in another state. I mean, this is serious. And people who are victimized by identity theft, they can have their lives impacted where they can't get loans, they can't get jobs, they can't even get into schools. In some cases, the worst cases, people are arrested for crimes that they didn't even commit. And about 15% of cases of identity theft are cases where new accounts are set up. In other words, somebody gets a hold of your information and they set up a credit account at a department store. They set up an account somewhere in another state, and it can be opened even in a fake name. Now, how do you deal with that? How do you prevent it? There's a simple procedure that a lot of people don't know called a credit freeze. It's one of the most effective ways to prevent identity theft. What happens here is that when people seek credit, what is called the credit origination process, the access to a credit report is critical for the people that are lending the money, extending the credit, to find out what the risk is. A credit freeze stops anyone, including you, from getting access to your credit report, which means then you have to thaw it out when you need to. I'll explain that to you. So what it does is it places a block in the process of issuing credit, but it stops the bad guy from access to your credit and stops the bad guy from being able to open a new account in your name. Now, what happens is, lenders will say that they have to see a borrower's credit report before they give a loan in the borrower's name. If they can't see the credit report, then they won't give a loan. So credit freezing would certainly reduce the risk of any kind of fraudulent loans or credit cards. They do have some disadvantages because it makes it a little bit more difficult for you when you're applying for a loan. Then you have to unfreeze or thaw your account. Now, what it does with a credit freeze also is control how the reporting agencies, and by the way, there's 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and it controls how they can sell your data. It locks the data. And there have been state laws passed that allow this, so that if you are a victim of identity theft, this process is essentially free. But even if you're not a victim and you're concerned about your credit and identity theft, what you have to do is contact each of the 3 major credit reporting agencies, and you will pay a fee, which differ from state to state, but the most that they're charging for each agency is $10, hence the $30 I talked about. And so it's really a great idea, and you may want to find out about it, and there will be a free credit freeze guide posted on our website at legalsurvival.org. Go to the website. You'll find a free guide that tells you how to freeze your credit and how to thaw it out when you're applying for a loan yourself. Now, if you're someone that is constantly seeking out new credit for whatever lifestyle you have, the cost to continually unfreeze could be excessive. So then you would not want to freeze your credit. But most people don't do that. Most people, and especially most Christians who try to live within a value that we call prudence and be good stewards, don't constantly apply for credit over and over and over again. And they may find it very helpful to use a credit freeze. In a moment, joining me on the Legal Survival Expert Line will be Paul Wright, prominent attorney, who'll talk to you about contracts. You know, listeners of the show will be given information on something that actually most people don't understand. So stay tuned.
You can help keep the vital information of the Legal Survival Show on the air. This show is a public service of the nonprofit Justice and Freedom Fund. We want you to have the access to the best information that's necessary to make informed decisions for yourselves and your families. Please help support this different kind of talk show designed to help you with the must-have tools you need to protect your family, finances, property, privacy, and freedom. Please visit the website at legalsurvival.org and click the tab at the top of the page that says Donate. You can make a one-time donation or become a regular supporter, and of course any help you provide is greatly appreciated. And check the site often for special free gifts. That's legalsurvival.org. Please help us continue to bring the show into your homes and workplace by visiting legalsurvival.org, or if you prefer, you can call toll-free 888-260-4460. That's 888-260-4460. 888-260-4460.
Okay, on the Legal Survival Expert Line, I have with me